Hello and welcome everyone back to another episode of the 2009 MotoGP season. Now we're going to jump straight into it with the episode number 4, I believe. We are off to Le Mans today. It was a wet race if I remember from that year correctly. I'll just read the small description. For a title contender, 0 in the standings is a heavy blow. Jorge Lorenzo therefore needs to redeem himself at Le Mans. But the rain and the ensuing flag threaten to shake things up. No, this is either the year Valentino crashed as he went to slick tyres too early, or else it was 2007 or 2008. There was a flag to flag. He was one of the early ones to come in and put on the dry tyre, and he crashed in Museum. So I don't know, I can't remember what year it was. It was around this time. I think it was 07 though. I don't believe it was this one, but we're I could be wrong. We're going to go and try and see how it goes. But yeah, it's going to be our first riding in the rain, so it's going to be a bit of a different one, so I might struggle a bit, but let's get into it.
I was to take so many risks to pass Casey. When he noticed that I came, he improved his lap time. So it was difficult to catch him, and I had to take so many risks.
Win year in year is fantastic. It's always a great pleasure, a lot of fans. Thanks to all my team, because today the bike worked very well, and proud to arrive at the first victory. I'm at the top of the championship, but I know I have difficult rivals, very strong, very hard to beat, but we are in a good shape.
Coming from all that problems we had, still it's unbelievable for me to be in the podium. I'm very, very happy and also surprised. Thanks to my team, we all are having a difficult time, but we are pushing hard.
Pedrosa's fitter and faster every race. On pole for the first time this year. But the French Grand Prix is a crapshoot. The track is wet at first and then starts to dry. Races used to be stopped and restarted when conditions changed. Under the new flag-to-flag rule, the race continues, and the riders have to decide for themselves when to come into the pits and switch to their second bikes, fitted with slick tyres for dry asphalt.
You have to change the bike in the right moment. No, if you change one lap later, you can lose the race.
It's a nerve-wracking decision. If the track's dry enough, slicks will be much faster. If it's still too wet, you'll feel like you're on ice. Rossi is the first to swap bikes. Too soon. Lorenzo leaves it until later. By the time he comes in, he's built a 30-second lead. When he comes back out, it's down to 7 seconds. The track's still damp. Nerves of steel required. The track's improving. Everybody's going faster. And they're getting closer. Time to push. Focus. Feel the limit. Keep it smooth. And go.
So I feel like Milestone have missed a beat here personally, just because wouldn't this be a great time to introduce, now if they can, I don't know why they haven't, but wouldn't this be a great time to introduce flag to flag, variable weather, and the option to run a dry tyre on a wet track and be able to choose when to pit, because this challenge basically is wrong because we're on a full dry track. I also was right about Valentino crashing, which was heartbreaking to see. I remember watching that race live and seeing him just tip off in Museum. So, and Valentino, wherever on the track he is setting personal best lap times. So we have to keep a big distance. We're in hot air though. Back too many gears. I'm gonna just ignore that. That was just a bit of a wet patch. You saw nothing. I'm trying to read the bloody objectives, and again I've cut the track. These objectives are so annoying, you can't read them while you're riding. Finish first is the first one. Doing that, we have one more lap to do it, and it's 5.3 seconds I think I need to beat second by. Distance second place by at least 5.5 seconds, or 5.3 seconds. It's currently 3.5. So we're going to need a pretty good lap this time around. Le Mans isn't one of my favourite tracks, it has to be said. I'm usually actually quite good around here though, which is weird. I just don't really get on with it. I don't like it personally, but I seem to get on with it, is what I should say. You can't have good flow in fairness, so I will say that. So, like, there's a lot of corners where you're kind of changing directions, come in, so you back it in a lot, which is, it can be enjoyable at times. I enjoy it a lot on a Moto 2 bike, believe it or not. Again, probably for the same reason that you can back it in a bit more. So the gap to P2 is at 4.2, 4.3 at the moment. So unless we have the last sector from heaven, I don't think we're going to get it. It's up to 4.7 though, for a split second it's gone back down. Again, unless Melandri really falls off in this last sector, I'm not getting that gap up to 5.3 seconds. Into the penultimate corner there. Final corner. Up to the line, it's 4.2 as you cross the line. He's only there unless he misses a gear or something. We're not going to get that one. But anyway, we did the main objective. We held him off and kept first position. On to the next episode.
Le Mans is a great race for a different Italian, Marco Melandri. Before Pedrosa, Stoner and Lorenzo came along, Melandri looked like the next big star. In 2005, he finished second to Valentino Rossi in the World Championship. Then he joined Ducati as Casey Stoner's teammate and finished the 2008 season in 17th place. Melandri blamed the bike. Ducati blamed Melandri. Stoner's victories suggested the bike was not the problem. In fact, the Australian's results were down to his supernatural ability. His talent was masking the machine's defects. Ducati decided there was something wrong with Melandri and brought in a psychologist. Melandri left Ducati. He joined Kawasaki for 2009. That is what was left of Kawasaki's MotoGP project. A bare-bones single-rider outfit, Team Hayate Kawasaki had last year's bike and no sponsors. But at Le Mans, they had what they needed. Treacherous track conditions are an equalizer. The bike doesn't matter so much. They all have more than enough power in the wet. The race becomes a test of the rider's skill, courage, and judgment. It's Melandri's chance to show what he can do. Rossi switched to slicks on lap 6 and crashed. 1 lap later, Melandri makes the change. Back on the track, you're down in 11th place. Can you get to second in the next 7 laps?
What? 7 laps? That's a interesting one. So 1 pass per lap and finish P2. Okay, they are pretty bunched up, I'm not going to lie, so if I get a good run I should be able to get a few of them. But once again, I'm on the wrong tyre. I should be on wet. Or the track should be at least damp. This is not going to be easy. Oh, this thing does not turn. What is going on? Oh, Honda's going to pass me. Is that Danny? Is it? Yeah, it is. So this is by far the longest challenge we've had yet. Might even be the hardest one, believe it or not. Oh, I missed a gear. Bummer. Again, we were having to make up all the bloody time on the brakes, which is very annoying, and this bike does not have a nice front end. Trying to pick up slipstream from Canapa. Oh, coming from a long way back. So Melandri had signed for Kawasaki, and basically it pulled the plug in the last minute, and this is what was left. They supplied one bike for the season for him, and no teammate, and pretty much a very bare bones team. He does sign for Grassini in the following season. This bike was massively down in power, and it is as well in the game, but we're going to send it into Dunlop. But no, it doesn't turn. Jesus, this is horrendous to ride, this bike. And that is the beautiful GP8. I presume, I don't remember if they had, probably the 7. This is the, oh no, it's probably the GP8. Yeah, they'd have the last year's bike back then, I'd say. Again, I'm in hot, but it looks like the AI are all running the same pace, so I can find a bit of something with this bike. I might be able to pick them off, but I'm struggling a lot on corner entry just with precision. On lap 3 of 7, so we have plenty of time left. Oh, but not if we're going to make mistakes like that. That chicane has been an absolute nightmare in this episode so far. So this, of course, is the year Valentino wins his 9th title. In this year he has 2 DNFs. This is one of them. The other is in Donington. Oh no, sorry, he's 3. He's 3 DNFs. Now that I said. Whoops. Misinformation. Donington crashed in very similar conditions. I just locked the front in the opposite direction. Don't mind me. Very similar conditions. He was on dry tyres, crashed into the foggy S's at Donington. A certain Andrea Dovizioso got his first race win there on a Repsol Honda. And Indianapolis crashed while comfortably behind. I think he was comfortably behind or ahead of Lorenzo, and made a mistake into turn 2. I actually remember that day vividly. I was outside my house standing on a wall, messing around with a friend of mine, slipped and basically skinned my whole shin. Took a load of skin off it because I caught the edge of the wall. And I remember that was a night race sitting down in the evening or that was a night race for me in Ireland, obviously being in America, so it was a couple of hours behind, so sitting down watching on Eurosport as we overtake Edwards. Do we get it stopped? It looks like we do, but he fights back. The Texan doesn't have enough though. But as I was saying, I remember sitting down on my couch with my leg up, all bandaged up after completely destroying the front of my left shin, watching Valentino, and he just tucked the front in front of me. I was disgusted. And that's where the donkey helmet came from Misano. Fun fact. Of course, all of that will be covered in this series. Alright, I'm gonna have to be quiet now and see what I can do here. Slipstream. Triple overtake up the inside of Takahashi. No, he leans on me. We have another look, but again into the S Bleu. We're not close enough. Last corner, or penultimate corner. Not really a place we won't look at that. Once again, slipstream, and it's doing nothing for me. Another speculative move into what is known as turn 2, which is a bit stupid. That's another track that we're going to get a penalty here if we're not careful. Inside Hayden, maybe. Obviously, he replaced this guy. at Ducati for the 2009 season, 2006 world champion. Whoa. We are making good progress, but we are running out of laps, believe it or not. That was a speculative move on Casey. I'm going to try to cut back. Should have him into La Chapelle. No, it's just Davi, provided Casey doesn't knock me off, which looks like he hasn't. Whoa, it's going to take some risk. Oh, front end, hello. Casey, don't you dare. So we're coming into the bus stop now. I'm going to have to really risk it to get close enough. We are close enough, so in the next chicane, he's a touch wide. Gets a wheelie, so do we though. But we get much better drive, and that is us into P2. Oh, and I've got that all wrong. I'll leave him back through and then re-overtake him. I think that is a fair consumption. Oh, let's park it. Into the last couple of corners we come. Up to the line, we're actually going to do it. I'm quite surprised. With a lot of track limit warnings, which we won't talk about. But yeah, that Kawasaki was a dog. It's a dog for me. It was a dog for Melandri back in the day, and I'm pretty glad we managed to get through that, because that was a horrible bike to ride. On to the final part.
First thing, stay on the bike. You don't want to get hurt again. The track's drying out. Feel the grip. You can go faster. Your teammate Dovizioso is up ahead. The gap is 6 seconds. 8 laps to go. It's always satisfying beating your teammate. Can you catch him and take third place?
So another bloody long one. At least we're on a Honda though, not that dog. This already feels better and more like a MotoGP bike should handle. It's a lot louder though. I'm gonna edit this down though, because I'm not putting in another. This is like a full race length video if I don't edit it down. So I'm gonna keep you on board for a lap and see how we get on. And I'll know by the end of the first lap how hard it'll be. Equal equipment for me and Davi, of course. I'm a lot more in the groove of the track now though, so I do imagine, as I looked at the gap, that I should have this a bit easier in me than the high 80 with Melandri on that horrendous bike. Gap is under 5 seconds. These heavier braking zones as I make up my time. We just need to knock over the limit though. As Mark Neal says, crashing won't help. Do love the sound of this Honda, I must say. Get her spinning. So yeah, this looks like we're going to do this pretty easily, so I'll probably just jump to when I have him and I'll see how many laps it takes. It won't take me all late, I can say that much for sure. So we are at the midway point of lap 5 and we've really pretty easily caught up to Davi. I'm not going to pass him yet. I could have really just left the brake off there, but we're going to just sit on him and pass him. Pretty much nearly had him out of that corner again, but we're going to leave the brakes off up in here. Need to move nearest signal maneuver. He brakes so much earlier than me. Even to slipstream, I still got to stop pretty comfortably. Touch deep, but I also went on the offensive line, so it's pretty easy now. Just bring it home. Haven't had to ride that hard in this segment. This Honda is so much better than that dude, the Hayate Kawasaki. That thing just had such weird chatter from the front end and understeer. This Honda's been a dream to ride. You just get to put it wherever you want. So, pretty easy challenge. So far, not been too hard these episodes, but still fun. I still enjoy them. They're enough of a challenge that I know most people will find them quite difficult, but just didn't make me work for it in places. That Kawasaki one was hard just because the bike was crap. Also as well, while I have and while I have some spare time, I have invested in a mic boom. If you don't know what a mic boom is, basically I connect my mic to it. I can place it basically floating anywhere in the air and move it around, move it closer to my mouth, further away. Pretty much it gives me more desk space. It also makes a better sounding audio mic, so I can have it closer to my mouth, so I have less interference. I'm also going to play with the setup in OBS to just optimize my settings, because a new mic position, we're not here, I've got that all wrong. Okay, we're gonna just cut across here and roll enough to leave off the advantage I gained. It gave him back a lot of time, but as I was saying, I will need to readjust. So I've only just set it up and recording with it now just to see what it's like. I've done a few test records and it sounds pretty good, but when the gameplay puts in and everything else, it'll be interesting to see what it sounds like. But if you notice any difference, let me know in the comments down below, and yeah, it should be pretty good for the rest of the videos, because I'll have it set up after today's video. So for career mode and stuff, I should have a much better audio level. Is a big thing I find a lot of times even myself I can't understand. Oh, I'm not here. I'm looking at the fuel. I am worried I'm going to run out of fuel. I'm going to go power 1 for the last 2 laps. Oh, I just see, that's what happens when you're trying so much on the screen you have to look at in this game mode that you end up making mistakes. And we brought Davi right back into this one. We're also going to tear away, so we still says +5 a lap. I don't believe that at all. There's a sliver left. It'll be so annoying if I have to redo this, because it's been such a long challenge. It's looking a bit better. It's not going down as much now. I don't really think you can save fuel either on this game, bar turning down power modes, riding economical, short shifting, higher gear, all that, lifting and coasting. I don't think it really affects it like it would in a Formula 1 game. I am doing it now though, and the fuel looks to be coming up, but I think that's just mainly down to power mode 1. Into the penultimate corner for the penultimate time. One last lap. We are really after turning the pace down. 2 seconds off now. Surely that's enough fuel to get us to the line, even with the 0.5 over Davi. Ironically, both these riders probably the best of their generation not to win the title. Danny was a lot more talented. Well, no, it's hard to say a lot more talented. He was a lot more successful over his career and was was touted to be more of a title favourite in a couple of years, especially the Rossi Ducati years when it was him, Lorenzo and Stoner. 2012 especially was his best chance. Stoner getting injured in that Indianapolis crash, Lorenzo being his main competitor, and they went at it every single week. And yeah, he got unlucky with I think it was Hector Barbera, I believe, in Misano into the left-hander at the back straight, took him out, and that was kind of the end of his title from there. It just kind of seemed to fizzle out. But he really was one of the best in the world for a couple of years, for a lot of years really, but he was always a nearly man, finishing P2 in his second year, ahead of Rossi even in 2007. Again, a lot of people think his size and stature really affected him, and they probably did. all them injuries as well took a toll on poor little Danny, but what a rider he was in his day. Absolutely adore his riding style, but he's done enough here to get the podium ahead of his teammate. Big wheelie across the line, both objectives complete. So we have unlocked Marco Melandri's official livery for the Hayate. Pretty ugly bike, especially the livery was horrible. They didn't really get it right. No sponsors or anything. It was a mess that whole season for Melandri and the team. But I am going to end off episode 4 and round 4 of the 2009 season. So up next is Mugello, another action-packed weekend that was, when we've pretty similar conditions where we're on a dry track with just a few spits of rain. The top 3 riders all within a couple of seconds of each other, so look forward to that in the next episode. But I'm going to leave it there. If you did enjoy today's episode, feel free to drop a like down below. Subscribe to see more content on MotoGP 22 in the future, including career mode, tips and tricks online, and maybe even a bit of league racing if I'm lucky. And yeah, once again, thank you all for tuning in to today's episode, and I shall catch you all in the not so distant future. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.